get my camera to stop wobbling. There we go. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Knowlton. I'm the director of Joe's Pub here with Michael Mwenso, who is an incredible singer and composer and band leader and activist and all of these things. We go way back, and he's a member of our first year of the Joe's Pub Working Group, who formerly known as the Joe's Pub Artist in Residence, which is an artist development program cohort that we do annually, and is here as a curator and host of the Songs of Black Resistance and Hope that we're presenting virtually in Joe's Pub this summer. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, that was nice, Knowlton. Wow, I've never heard anyone call me. I feel very, to call me an activist, I feel very like, wow, I never, but I feel like you just centered a certain spirit within my soul that was like, wow, and I'm thankful for that you see that within me, because you don't know how people see you out here.
Yeah,
it's
true.
So I thank you for that. That was a beautiful introduction.
Well, I cherish you in our professional life and in my personal life. And I think hosting a show about Black voices in America anytime is an act of artistic activism. And I think especially right now, as we're in the midst of the growing pandemic with COVID that is disproportionately affecting Black and brown bodies in the US, and the growing attention for the movement for Black lives. I think there's a long history of music and activism, and in a certain point, there's the Duke Ellington school of putting 15 talented Black men on stage is a way of activating and activism. And I think putting a finer point on the stories you're telling and the songs you're singing is a really strong point of activism too. So I hope you feel that crown and that hat fits you. And that's definitely part of how I see your work.
Thank you. I love you very much.
I love you. I also, before we dive in, I just want to acknowledge, usually when anybody hands me a microphone in Joe's, I like to acknowledge that Joe's is situated on Lenape historical land. Joe's Pub has been around for about 22 years within the Public Theater, who's been at Astor Place for about 50 years. And for generations and generations before that, the Lenape people were there and continue to be there. And so we are occupying their space. I'm calling in from Brooklyn, which is historically Lenape and Canarsie land. And Michael, you're uptown, so I think that's Lenape and Wappinger land. So just centering and placing ourselves within the space that we occupy presently.
Hi everyone, my name is Vuyo.
I'm Russell.
And we are so excited to be part of this series with Michael Mwenso and Joe's Pub. We're going to be doing some songs of protest, both from home and from Russell's home, which is
Kingston, Jamaica.
Kingston, Jamaica. Awesome. So we're going to start off with a song by Miriam Makeba and Kaifa Semaine.
Makubenjalo kude kubenguna pakate kude kubenguna pakate. West wind, blow ye gentle over the souls of yesterday. My sons, proud and noble, here within wisdom, gather all the young for me. Black cloud hanging over, nest your bosom strong and free. Guard each gallant warrior's claim. I am the soil from which they came. I am the soil from which they came. Oh, now, west wind, with your wisdom, take my people by the hand. Sunshine, spread your glory. Unify our promised land. Set it free from exploitation and strife. Nothing is more precious than life. I know that nothing is more precious than life. Ah, ah, la, 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 la. Ah, na, 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 eh. Ooh, do, do, eh, yeah. Hey, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, nah. Say, guard each gallant warrior's claim. I am the soil from which they came. Guard each gallant warrior's claim. I am the soil from which they came. Set them free from exploitation and strife. Nothing is more precious than life. Oh. West wind, we believe in you to bring the truth. Oh, west wind, I believe in you to bring the truth. Unify, unify, unify our promised land.
Talk to us about being a black man in the U.S. now.
You know, it's, you know, to be an African and to be then raised in the energy of Europe, which, you know, which is a whole complete energy because of, there's a different consciousness there in a sense of African Caribbeans that came there in the 50s through Windrush. But also a lot of the older history that still in England is still, I would say, a mystery in a certain way of Africans that were there in the late 18th century and the early 19th century and stuff and people like that. And actually a lot of people don't know there was a very small minority group of Africans in the 18th century, which were very actually in England, and almost you could say lived in a very echelon of life that is very uncovered. People don't know that history too. So, you know, you live as a black person always with mystery because our history is a mystery. So, you know, being in Africa, thank God, if you're from that place and you're born there, it just gives you just an extra understanding of ourselves, you know. And I'm thankful for that. The little time that I was raised there, I'm so thankful, because it just gave me a little more understanding, you know. Because to go to England, you could get lost.
Mm-hmm.
You get lost as a Black person, because, you know, you start sounding English, you know, as they did to all of us, colonized us with their language.
That's right.
And you can get lost. You know, I remember going through very interesting periods of my youth when I was actually not as proud as I am now as an African person, you know, wanting to fit in school, maybe being embarrassed. You know, people, you know, I got cousins who did that thing. You know, it was, you weren't being empowered to be an African as you were growing up as a Black man in England. But, you know, you evolve and you develop and you get more conscious. And actually coming to America, as we say now, has even deepened the consciousness of my Blackness. You know, in a way that is, especially this particular time we're in. If you say, won't say the time, because you said we should just call it the time, we should just really call it what it is. This rising of the truth.
Yes. Between
the races, we'll say it like that, has even made me even more stand in truth with me as an African Black man. I wouldn't have got that in England.
Interesting.
I wouldn't have got that in England. England is so far behind with race and institutionalized racism and all that stuff. But America has even brought to me more kind of like, whoa.
Right.
I'm Black. I'm African. This is what Black people went through in this country. You better know the history and understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. You want to get that in England. I mean, maybe if I lived in England now, you see the statues coming down. But England has a very low potency of consciousness when it comes to Black people.
And it's so interesting. You're saying history a lot. That word is coming up a lot. And I feel like that's important, thinking about the relationship that England has with its history of colonialism and oppression of Black people.
Which is still, wait till England gets this one. Because you see, America's had its fire now in a certain way. Wait till England gets its shake of like,
that's right.
Oh, you colonized the whole world. Oh, you stole all the gold. Mm-hmm. Oh, you stole all the diamonds. They haven't had it yet. Well, they haven't had their reckoning.
And the reckoning is so tantalizing too. And thinking about the songs of South African freedom that we're going to be celebrating this evening as well. Like, you know, in America, we look to South Africa and we say the reckoning has happened. The conversation is out in the open. And so, great job, well done, mission accomplished. And there continues to be a lot of work and discussion and struggle and oppression, even in South Africa. So it's just so empowering and also motivating to see how local and specific and personal the shape of justice and revolution takes in each of these places.
And no, it's real, and we haven't even yet really unclothed what colonization did to us as Africans, because that one is even more the trauma of all of the Africans they put all over the world is individual. Mm-hmm. African Americans, they're one. Africans is colonized, we have our trauma. Mm-hmm. African Caribbeans, the African Brazilians, the African Spanish, it's all separate trauma. Yeah. So we haven't even uncovered what colonization has really done to us, because we have to do that one first before we even talk about slavery.
And if you think about timeline of like, we're reckoning with slavery in the United States for the last 400 years and see how long and slow and painful that is, to think about moving the timeline back for colonization.
It worked, and it's showing because of it's now is the time.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna play a song from South Africa. It is essentially a protest song, because it was known because it was being sung in the streets at the funerals during the 1976 student uprising, and even throughout all of the marches that happened throughout South Africa's anti-apartheid history. the song was prevalent. And it is in Xhosa, Zulu, two of which are Nguni languages. And it holds a very powerful message of what the people of South Africa, and I believe the black people, the people who are black all over the world, are singing together in this moment. And I want to honor those people that have also sung this song before, many times. This is Senze Nina. 2, 3, 4.
You talked a little bit about Black roots music and protest music, and I was fascinated last week learning about gospel as protest music. How do you see gospel, South African song, jazz, and the blues all kind of living together and speaking to each other as a unifying protest music string connected?
Well, all Black music is a form of protest. We know this. And we know this because of the degree of values that were placed in it, you know, the functions of it, you know, to be able to speak of what's going on in your time, but to also touch the people, but to also have an understanding of the power through music, you know. And of course, Black people have gone through so much over time. So music for them has always, you know, one way has been seen in the world as a function of entertainment, but for really Black people, it was a function of strength. Mm-hmm. It was a function of them speaking, you know. So it's for us to remind ourselves that this music was curated with those functions, you know, and to really create a deeper relationship with it, so that it actually has more power to do what it should do, than us just having a relationship that's not really deep and fulfilled in a certain way. You know, we create a relationship with it that we don't really have an understanding of really what its original place was to be. You know, the blues is one that's turned into something which I think if we played some of the early Josh White and Lead Belly stuff where they're talking about race, I think a blues audience today who goes and see Buddy Guy would walk out.
Yeah, that's not what they're there for.
Because it's 98% white.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to a black music like that. You know, and that's another, you know, that's also the story of like, how did this music switch, you know, when it was something else before? Yeah,
that entertainment word is that's layered.
I know.
That makes me think of commodification and appropriation. Like that's kind of a dangerous word when you think about black music in America.
Yeah, because it was only seen as that.
Yeah.
You know, and not that it also doesn't deal with that on a highest level, because black people created that depth too. But it was only seen as that, you know.
Yeah.
We're back. So this next song we're gonna do is a song from Russell's home, which is
Jamaica.
Yes, and we were playing this song a little earlier this year, in February, in celebration of Robert Nesta Marley's 75th birthday. It would have been his 75th birthday. And the words he wrote then are still as true today.
All pirates, yes, they robbed I, stole I from the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. Wherefore in this generation triumphantly, so won't you help me sing these songs of freedom, 'cause all I ever had, redemption song, redemption song. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Don't have fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of that can stop the time. Oh, how long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? They say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. So won't you help me sing these songs of freedom, 'cause all I ever had, redemption song. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom, 'cause all I ever had is redemption song, redemption song, redemption song, redemption song.
it's fascinating talking like this. I feel like you and I talk like this in short snippets, but we don't
That's
often
true.
have
That's
a chance,
true.
like to
That's
like
why I
dedicated
wanted. That's
time.
why I wanted to do it. That's why, because
Yeah.
I was like, we got to do this one, man, because
Yeah.
because I know we can get to it.
Yeah. No, this is beautiful. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you feel like you want to talk about in what is happening in your world, what you see happening in the world around you?
Well, for anyone watching now, just plant your seeds now, because don't wait for things to open up. If you're an artist, if you're out and you believe in something, plant the seeds now, because if the ancestors see what you're doing now, they'll transition you to the new world smoothly. Don't wait for the things to open up. If things will open up, you won't have nothing. Do your thing now, hustle now, make the connections now, change the power structure.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
I love that. Thank you.
That's a nice haircut Emily gave you.
Yeah, she did a good job, I think. The buzzers and the just going at it. She's got practice. Thank you, my friend.
Thank
all
you.
right.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you all for being here. And thank you, Michael, for taking some time to chat with me and share with the folks watching, and for putting this series together. It's an honor to have you in our artistic family, and to share this space with you, and to be together now while we're so far apart. So thank you.
Well, you stayed with me from the beginning. if I'm gonna say someone who has supported me from the time coming to this country and till now, is you. You've been a consistent strength and support of my talent, never failing. So I'm just thankful for who you are, what you are, and so thankful that now you're in the position you are at Joe's Pub, because you're gonna bring it to the new world too.
We got to, and that's a two-way street too, man. We've been in this together. I mean, that first, I still remember that first day we met. I was sitting in that office. You just walked in like, what are you doing here?
I know, but you see, look now, see?
That's right. Here we are.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.